Well, hello again, everyone. You join me at a very wet Flatford. I've just got wet feet. This is recorded actually after a previous vlog, which you've hopefully already seen. But I'm going to try, as I'm walking back to the car, I don't know whether you remember this tree here. It's a beautiful old thing. It's an old willow that sits beside the River Stour. And it's looking magnificent today. We've got some lovely early morning light on it, a lovely rich blue sky behind it, and water everywhere else. And I'm going to try my pet Ventosa inspired impressionistic style with this. So I'm going to use the Z30. I will take the lens cap off. And I'm going to photograph this in a semicircle. I'm going to walk around it, which actually is not going to be as easy as it sounds because we've got lots of water about. But then what I'll do is I'll take you into Lightroom and we'll have a look at the files, organise them, colour grade them, and then put them into Photoshop, and I'll show you how I produce this, which looks great, doesn't it? He says, hoping it will be. If you haven't seen how to do this, or if you want to know more about how to do this, then I have produced a blog about it. It's called Impressionistic Landscape Photography, and I'll put a link to it up here and at the back of this video for you to enjoy and check out. So let's shoot this. Hopefully the sun will stay out, but there's some clouds coming over. But let's see what we can make of this lovely old willow tree on the banks of the River Stour. Join me back at the office.
So here we are in Lightroom, and along the bottom here we've got all of the images that I shot. I've done some in portrait earlier, but these are, I'm going to work on the landscape version today. So the first thing I'm going to do is select the whole lot. I've already colour corrected this first one, and then I've applied the correction to all of the others. And now what I'm going to do is open as layers in Photoshop. Now you can see here that my shadow is creeping into the picture, but I knew that was going to happen, and my plan is to remove those pictures. So I'm going to go into each one of them individually and just clone out that shadow. The first one also had some flying geese in it, which I'm going to do the same too. So using the remove tool now in Photoshop, it's really easy to do this. Everything's imported as layers. I'm just going to move that up there out of the way. So the first thing we're going to do is select our first image, which is here. Now you'll see with this I've got two geese flying, and I've also got my camera bag and tripod in the corner of the picture. Now at the time I was not concerned because I know I can remove it. I could also clone it out, or I could also crop it out, but I'm just going to take my time, just go each one of these, just revealing each layer, and I'm just going to remove each obstacle. So at the moment it's the tripod and the bag, and in a moment you'll see that I'll start doing that for the shadow of myself. The sun was behind me, but it gave us this lovely colours, looks beautiful. So just using the remove tool, it does an absolute fantastic job. Certainly good enough for what we want for this, because we're going to blend them anyway. So I'll just move this out of the way. We'll just speed this up a little bit now, and I'll get back to you when I've finished. If you want to watch any of this going on, then clearly you can just pause it or slow it down. And the last one. So that's all of those removed now. So what we've done so far is we've processed this in Lightroom, I've applied the correction to all of the images, and then I've gone in doing Photoshop. I've opened it as Photoshop layers, and I've gone in Photoshop and just got rid of anything that I didn't like. So now what we're going to do is we're going to select the first one, and I'm going to start working on the blending. So first one's 100% capacity, the second one just going to lower the opacity down to something around 40%, and as you can see it's not quite aligned properly, so we're selecting the move tool, and I'm just going to move that around until it overlays it as best as possible. Now obviously this tree is quite an angle, so it's not going to do that exactly, but that's part of the creative process. And now we're going to look at the various blend modes, and I'm going to go quite dark with this, I think, because I really like those dark blue skies we've got behind it. It looks wonderful. So this one's slightly less, using the move tool just to line it as best as possible. I'm really concentrating on that main trunk, which is catching the lovely early morning light. Let's have a look. We've got multiply, colour around, multiply again. It makes it really dark. I quite like it. Let's have a look. We'll go there, soft light. That works quite well. And now the next one, again slightly less on the opacity, and now move it across. So we can do that, move it around. You have to move it away and then bring it back in to be able to see it, and sometimes it gets very difficult. Now I love dissolve, but not quite yet on this. I think I'm certainly going to add some dissolve in, but look how that's standing out, and it's already looking a little bit abstract. The trees at the back right are moving around as well, and they're going to give a lovely background to this. Right, let's move that into place because I hadn't done that. Somewhere around there, maybe there. So let's look at the blend mode. Again, the dissolve looks really good, doesn't it? But really with this image, I'm really liking the dark, rich colours. So I'm going to go with, I think, a bit more multiply. Anyone else producing this image from these raw files would produce something different to me, because you all see things different, and it's just embracing that and using your creativity, I think. Wow, some really interesting effects there. Look at that. I like loads of those actually, but we're going to start going a little bit lighter. So let's just drag that down, the opacity. You can see that's quite different. Now obviously there's lots of water around, so I was splashing about, trying not to get soaked. I'd already got wet feet, which didn't make this particularly easy, and the idea is really that you stay the same distance away, and I wasn't far off. It was a kind of a semicircle of sorts. So again, we're going darker with this. Right, I'm going to speed this up now. Again, if you want to slow it down about 4 times, and you'll be able to see it happening in real time. But for now, rather than keep you waiting, I'll speed this up. last couple of layers I thought I'd just show you. Just moving it around, you can see it's not so easy to spot where the middle trunk is, but just about manage it. Just move it, keep moving it around until you see it, and that kind of lays there. It hasn't got to be exact anyway. So just go with one of those two. I've already, as you can see, already used dissolve blend on one of these, because I like that pixely, impressionistic, pointillism kind of look. So 2 left. Looks a bit light to me now. I think we just need to darken this down a little bit, otherwise it looks a little bit insipid. We need to punch the colour a little bit, maybe. Maybe colour burn is going to work. Maybe there, that looks better. And then the final one, move it around, align it up, and we'll blend this finally. Again, another little darken one, maybe colour range modify. Just keep playing around with these, it's really just good fun. And there we go, and that's the whole thing. So now what we're going to do is go up to layers, flatten image, and that's going to flatten all of that down. And then I'm going to crop it. Go for a 1-to-1 square, but actually I think it kind of works. I like squares on these kind of images, but maybe a 16:9, something like that. I think it kind of suits it a little bit better. I don't actually mind some of the layers that where it's overlapped and they're a different color. I don't actually mind that. See that on the right hand side there? I don't mind that. That's okay, but trying to get the top of the tree and the bits of the grass, it's all about the colour. Let's just move it into trying to get rid of that bit, but that looks fine. Tick. So all we need to do now is flatten it again. And job done. Just going to add a frame to it. Excellent. Here comes the finished print. So thanks for tuning in. I hope you've enjoyed watching me produce that. There's no doubt that if you did it, you'd do something completely different, but go and give it a try. Go and check out the other video on my channel, which I'll put a link to down below and at the end of this video to have a look at. It tells you in a bit more detail how to do it, but you can see it's quite straightforward really. And if you like this kind of thing, please think about subscribing to stay up to date, and click the notification bell, which means every time there's a new video of mine, you'll get notified. I produce videos every Sunday at 6 o'clock GMT and the odd Wednesday night. So until then, until we meet again, thanks ever so much. Take care. Goodbye.